Coming up on this episode of Southall Computing, we're going to review the F20 dual lens car DVR that records in 720p, and that's coming right up. Hey YouTube, Dan from Southall Computing here today, and we got a F20 dual lens 720p car DVR that apparently uses the H.264 video compression as well. I'm happy to see that these guys don't pretend that their camera does 1080p resolution, so we'll be testing that out as well. I do have to say, unfortunately, that I did not realize this at the time, but this one was used. So what we reveal in this box is not necessarily what everything that comes with it. So let's get right to it. Okay, so we got everything unboxed here. Like I said, this is a used product from eBay, so it might not have everything that it's supposed to. We got our manual, we got the camera here, we got our AV cables, the USB power for the car through the cigarette light adapter, a standard USB cable to micro, and the window mount. So we got looks like everything that we should have. Okay, and we'll be using for this test an ADATA 32 gig micro SD card to pop in this bad boy. So as always, we like to go through the menus, see what kind of options we got. So we'll be right back. So, right off the bat, we noticed that it started recording. So the date looks fair. No, actually the date is not fairly accurate. So I pressed the record OK button to make it stop. But let's just take a quick tour. On the top here, we have the slot for the memory card, HDMI for video on the television, and let's see, a standard composite out, your USB, your functional buttons here, and I don't think there's anything else on the other side of this guy here, so, okay, well, now right off the bat, it is a dual camera, but I noticed that the left camera here is more zoomed out versus the right one, so it appears like the right one is a zoomed in view of some sort, so that's interesting. And let's see, 480p, that's not what we want, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this menu, see what we got. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to 720p, and then I use this button here to navigate there, and I'm going to say OK. Good. Well, that's interesting now. It splits them on the top and bottom, so this is going to be curious to see what our actual video footage is going to look like. Alrighty, so let's see, menu, and can we move over now? Oh, I see. I got it now. So 720 vertical and horizontal, so let's try the horizontal one. That's better, definitely. Looks better anyway. Doesn't seem like it's quite in focus with that, so alright, well when we do our field test we'll get a handle on this. So let's see, how about mode? Oh, actually we're not even in the correct language. How about that? Alrighty, let's try to guess how to switch it. Okay, so it was obviously not in English here, so how do we get to it if you ever get into the same situation? You hit the menu button and you hit it and whoops, you hit the menu button there, you keep on hitting menu or mode, hitting mode until you get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 8 is your lucky number, and that's how you get to switch it back to English. So that was our first hurdle. So let's start this all over here. Again, under the video settings, you have either 480p, 720p but a vertical view, or a 720p horizontal view, and that's pretty much it there. I'm going to hit the menu button to go back. There we go, that's better. So we're going to hit the mode button now. So here, I guess you get to set how long of a duration you want it to actually record. I actually like the 2-minute one, for your video clips in other words. So I'm going to hit mode again. Wants to know if you want the GSensor trigger to be on this particular device. so that's fine. Hitting mode again. Here we have brightness, so that's pretty neat. You could set all different brightnesses for this. Setting the exposure, we'll leave it at 0 for now to see what kind of results we yield. Color, so you could actually set some nice filters to your video here. Let's go back one. Auto detect. Not sure what the auto detect is for, but we'll investigate that. Back one. If you have a watermark that you want to put on, you could have that. I guess it's already on. We'll see what that's all about. Recording. Recording is on. I guess I would imagine that's automatically record when there's power. We'll see. Oh no, here we go. Auto record. Yep, that's exactly what we want. Language we already did. Frequency. Yep, either 50 Hertz or 60 if you want to set that, depending on your lighting. Set the date. Aha! You have to hit the mode button to actually get it to progress on this. Don't know why, but okay. Good. Now that we established that, let's go back, see what else we have. Format the card. Sure, let's do it. So that's interesting. OK worked for everything until you set the date and time. Mode. Oh, I see. Camera mode, playback mode. Set the defaults, and then your software version. Other than 1.9, there's nothing else it really has to tell you. Okay. So that's pretty much the rundown on the settings here. Let's see. SOS, I'm sure that's when you actually run into emergency. You want to make sure it doesn't get deleted. So let's get out of this menu. I'm going to hit record. And it says we're recording. Oh, okay. So these... Ah, alright. This cycles through either camera. That's interesting. And this left button here determines whether you're on daylight or nighttime mode. So it actually looks like the LED sensors are turning on, but we'll obviously try it in the car. And that seems to be pretty much it. Let's see if we get the dual view here. Let's see my handsome face here. Whoa! Extreme close-up. Okey-doke, I guess there's nothing else to see here, so we're gonna take it out in the field and have a nice little test with it. We'll be right back. Okay, so here's our daytime shot with the F20 720p dual camera. As you notice, I was having a little bit of issue of the camera keeping up on the 720p. It seems like it was maxing out this particular ADATA SD cards, so that was one of the little annoyances that I ran into it. But as far as the daytime shot and as the audio is concerned, both were very good. I was impressed. Everything came in super crisp and clear, and as you can see, the right camera is a more zoomed in view, where the left one is the more zoomed out version. And this is our nighttime view. As you can see, or lack of seeing, this thing would not work at all. As with the front headlights, they don't even show up unless I'm actually on something very close. But any setting that I changed, exposure, pretty much anything to do with video on this particular camera, I, for the life of me, cannot get it to show up properly. Even areas with street lamps come up extremely dark. So unfortunately, this camera is gonna get an F for nighttime view because nothing's viewable, not even remotely close. Okay, we're back. So let's start right off with all the pros that I liked about this particular camera here. As you see where it's stated on the box, true dual 720p. Hooray, hooray. Something that's advertised and it's actually in the camera. Too many cameras that we've gotten out there have not been very good when it comes to promoting what they actually provide. The H.264 video compression, hooray, hooray, 2 for 2. We get smaller file sizes, enabling more footage to be recorded on our SD card. Kudos to them. And the user interface on this particular camera was actually very well. Matter of fact, it was one of the better ones that we happened to review here. I liked the interface a lot. Let's talk about some of the cons for this. The size. This guy's a beast. Look at it. It would be nice if they came with a little tinier, smaller version here, but unfortunately, you get what you get, and that's it. The two cameras. I'm not exactly sure why they needed a zoomed-in view, to be honest, but hey, it's there. I found it a little bit annoying at times, but it's definitely a con for this camera. Terrible night vision. We messed with every single setting on this camera. We couldn't get it to work better at all if we tried. So, unfortunately, exposure and everything else was not enabling us to get a nice nighttime shot. Matter of fact, it's probably one of the worst ones that we've done. The 2-camera preview on the screen by itself. It's basically one of these issues where this particular screen is not big enough. It looks absolutely horrible on the screen when you're trying to drive around. When you're trying to focus and aim, and it's very distorted. It's not keeping the proper aspect ratio. Okay, and the last con for this particular camera is the inability to record just from one channel or one camera. At all times, this particular unit is recording from both lenses, not just one. And as always, do we keep it or toss it? This one here, unfortunately, I'm gonna say toss it. There's other cameras that we reviewed that will do 1080p, single lens, H.264, and honestly, they operate so much better. So that pretty much wraps up everything over here. If you like what you see, don't forget to give this video a nice thumbs up. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. As always folks, this is Dan from South Hall Computing, and until the next time.